Over the last year, we've seen a few entries in the Touhou project make it over to North America and for the PlayStation 4, and there's a new one called Touhou Double Focus now out. But is this one well worth your time, or is this one part of the project that should just be forgotten? If you're unfamiliar with the Touhou project, it's basically a long-running fan series of games that pay homage or parody popular games. All of these games take place within the same universe with the same basic characters, but all the styles of different gameplay are vastly different. You'll have Mega Man, Mario, different bullet hell style of shooters, and in the case of Double Focus, it's a Metroidvania game. The focus of Double Focus is two playable main characters that you can switch between at any time. You have Aya, who is part Tengu Raven mix, along with Momoji, who is a dog mix. Each of the characters has different moves in their arsenal that they'll get to learn throughout the course of the game that will aid you as far as the exploration and battling goes. In typical Metroidvania fashion, your arsenal is very limited at first, but while you're exploring and defeating enemies and bosses and completing some side quests here and there, you'll be getting new moves and new abilities that you'll then be able to use to explore areas you weren't able to access before, whether it's getting up to a higher place or being able to crawl underneath a small area. There is a lot of backtracking that you will have to do, and you'll be going through areas, reach a dead end, and then have to come back later to that point in order to continue. There is a map, of course, in the game that will easily guide you of where you've been and where areas ended up leading to those dead ends, so you're able to easily find them again. These different moves and abilities you'll be gathering are stuff like, of course, being able to get to higher platforms or being able to crawl into small areas. The character's movements and action are decent enough, though it was a little bit slower than maybe I was necessarily expecting. Of course, some combat is going to be faster depending upon which moves you're using. Each character has their health bar as well as their stamina bar, and you have to use stamina in order to pull off the moves, so you can't just mash the attack button to keep moves going. You have to wait for it to refill sometimes in order to unleash more moves, and every move and ability you use will eat up a different amount of stamina. There's not just weapon attack style moves you'll be able to gather, you'll also get those new abilities as well as some passive maneuvers as well, and these are going on at all times, such as health regen or a quicker stamina refill. The game is a little bit on the harder side. Even on the easy difficulty, it can put up a fight, especially during a few boss fights, and there's still instant kill involved in the game when it comes to evil red spikes that are lining certain areas for you to travel through. The hardest thing really to get used to, though, in the game is the fact there's only one save point. A lot of Metroidvania games usually have a lot of save points scattered throughout the different map that you'll have to explore, but in this game, there's one center base that you can save at, and you have to teleport back to that if you want to save again. You're going to find portals throughout the course of the game that you can then summon and instantly get back to the base, but they only work one way, basically. You can't set up multiple portals and then instantly go to any of the portals you've set up. You can only go from the portal to the base, and then from the base back to that same exact portal. Usually, of course, a good idea to set these up before you enter into a boss encounter. The game only has a handful of boss fights, but most of them are pretty enjoyable, mastering being able to get out of the way of their attacks, learning their patterns, and there's even trophies involved. You're able to beat a boss without taking any damage whatsoever. It's also cool that you can actually redo any of the boss fights once you complete them by going to a small room that's right near the opening base. Here you can get new abilities and your new items, and then tackle bosses you fought earlier on in the game to see if you're able to get a faster time or not take as much damage. If you're a fan of the Touhou project in general, the story that's included here is, I'm sure, very entertaining. For someone who's more of an outsider, it gets the job done. Basically, it revolves around a storybook, and the characters are going inside of it and are trapped in there, and all the other characters in the Touhou universe have also been pulled in. There's a lot of characters that end up making appearances. There's a lot of characters in the universe, so not all of them are included here, but a lot of them you'll be able to interact with and perform small fetch quests and other side quests with them in order to get certain items in the game. The game isn't necessarily very long. In fact, it only took me about 2.5 hours to play through it the first time, though there is 3 difficulties for you to tackle: easy, normal, and then the hardcore hard mode for you to go after if you really want that extra bit of challenge. From the technical side of things, I didn't run any major glitching, crashing, or slowdown of any sort. I also have to say the soundtrack is quite nicely done as well. A lot of the Touhou games usually end up having some pretty good music. A couple of tracks in particular were kind of just average, but a couple ended up standing out to me. Touhou Double Focus is available now on the PlayStation 4 for $19.99 digitally, but what was really cool is NIS America has actually released a physical version of Touhou Genzo Wanderer and Touhou Double Focus as a dual disc release. Each game comes with its own disc, as well as you actually get a manual as well, which of course is a rarity nowadays, so I very much appreciate it. This is actually well worth picking up, though it will end up costing you $49.99 if you want this particular version, but for me, as a game collector, this is well worth it. Overall, if you're a fan of the Touhou project, you've already probably picked up the game and been playing through it or already played it in the past. I'm just glad that they've been releasing some of these games here in North America. If you're someone who enjoys Metroidvania games, this one is a pretty good one to play through. It's not my favorite on the PS4 as far as Metroidvanias go, but it's still a pretty decent experience. And with everything said, I'm going to be giving Touhou Double Focus a 7 out of 10. But anyway guys, that's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.